On March 24th, 1975, in King's Lynn, England, it was thought to be just a casual Monday. Alex then decided to turn on his favorite show, The Goodies. And then he started to laugh. And he continued to laugh uncontrollably for a long time. He would end up laughing so hard and for so long that it ended up killing him. I am not exaggerating. The man literally died from laughing too hard at his favorite show. Now, I know you probably have some questions. How did this happen? What was happening in the show that was so funny? Is there anyone else that's died from laughing too hard? Were you asking that? Because we're going to talk about it. No! Don't worry, guys. We're going to find an answer to all of these questions. Because as it turns out, there has been several deaths from people laughing too hard. I stumbled upon weird rabbit holes, strange patterns, conflicting stories. Just buckle up, because it's going to be a wild ride. Let's start with the most pressing concern. What exactly was he watching? We already know that he was watching a show called The Goodies. But it was one episode in particular, Kung Fu Kapers. It was a scene of a dude with a kilt and bagpipes fighting another dude with a spoon. Now, I'm just gonna warn you, if that for some reason just sounded groundbreakingly hilarious to you, then viewer discretion is advised because we're gonna watch that exact clip at the end of this video. But first, what exactly happened? People don't just die from laughing too hard, do they? Because if that's the case, you'll probably die from laughing at this video. Was the clip just that funny? Has there been anyone else who died from laughing too hard? There are actually several other recorded cases in recent history of people dying from laughing too hard. And by several, I mean 10. And by recently, I mean the past 1600 years. That's right, this occurrence of people dying from laughing too hard has happened 10 times in all of recorded human history. That means it's probably the rarest form of death ever. I think more people have died from internal combustion. So anyways, what the hell were these people laughing at that was so funny? There's a lot of funny things that exist out there in this world. These particular 10 things killed someone. Based on statistics alone, these must be the top 10 funny things of all time, right? So what were these funny things that happened? Today we will uncover the mysteries of murderous jokes. Let's go back to the beginning to a man named Chrysippus. He is the first person to have ever died from laughing too hard. So if you ever heard of this phenomenon ever, this guy is likely the guy that you've heard about. Chris was a Greek philosopher from the 3rd century. Looky here, this is what ChatGPT did for me. This is what he looked like. One day, he was absolutely enthralled at a donkey eating fermented figs. He then asked one of his slaves to wash it down with undiluted wine. And I guess that was just the hardest punchline of all time, because after that, Chris was never the same. Yeah, that was what sealed this guy's fate. A donkey eating figs. I don't know, man. I've never seen a donkey eat a fig before, but it just doesn't sound that funny. I mean... Next, let's fast forward 200 years and take a look at Zuexis. Zuexis was a famous painter who lived during the 5th century. Aside from his artistic skills, there's one other thing he was known for. An old woman had commissioned him to paint a painting of Aphrodite. And if you don't know who Aphrodite is, it's a Greek goddess. So anyway, she also insisted that she be the model for him to go off of. Kind of like when Jack painted Rose on the Titanic with her tits out. Yeah, pretty much that, except Jack is Zuexis, Rose is this old lady, and he's painting her as Aphrodite. And I guess everything went south after that. He thought that the painting he was making was so funny that he died from laughing too hard. Just imagine being this poor old lady. The idea of her representing a Greek goddess was so asinine that he just died right there. Unfortunately, the painting in question, along with many other of his paintings, are lost to time. I don't even know if he finished it, truthfully. But what we do have is a painting of him painting the painting. This was 200 years later though, so who knows. Now this one, I kind of get it. It's one of those moments where you just have to be respectful, which makes it even funnier. And then she's just looking at you like, you know, like this. I think this is hilarious for sure, but funny enough to die from? I don't know, man. Next, we're jumping ahead to the 1400s. Plug your noses, because this one's a little sticky. King Martin of Aragon was the king of Aragon, wherever that is. Apparently he was enjoying an entire goose for dinner. And I guess this was his usual. The king gets what the king wants because he's the king. So yeah, he's eating an entire goose for dinner. After eating the goose, it wasn't exactly sitting well in his poop pocket. Probably because he ate an entire goose. So he retired to his bed chambers to relax it off. But he's just like me. He can't fathom the idea of sleeping without some sort of entertainment shoved down his face. Since he wasn't afforded the luxury of smacking his pen and falling asleep to YouTube, he hired his court jester to come give him a personal show. Little did he know that this man was about to murder him with bars. Essentially, the jester ended up being late. So the king asked the jester why he was late. The jester then replied,
"In the next vineyard, where I saw a young deer hanging by his tail from a tree, as if someone had so punished him for stealing figs."
This joke ended up being so freaking hilarious that King Martin was in an uncontrollable state of laughter for 3 hours before his heart finally passed out. Also, did you catch that last part of the joke, by the way? As if someone had so punished the deer for what? For eating figs? Up to this point in history, there have only been 3 deaths related to laughing, and 2 of them had something to do with figs. Like, what the hell is up with figs, man? What is so funny about a fig? Does this look funny to you? I don't even know what a fig tastes like, but I do know what a fig Newton tastes like, and they taste like ass, by the way. A couple hundred years later, during 1556 in Venice, Pietro Aretino, an Italian playwright, was at a nice little party. Now this one sort of has 2 different, minorly conflicting versions to it, but I'm gonna tell you both. Basically, at some point during the night, someone had told him a dirty story. He thought that this story was so hilarious that he started laughing uncontrollably and fell out of his chair, hit his head, and then died. So what was the story? Well, we don't exactly know, and this is actually where the little confliction happens. One version of the story claims that the story was about his sister, which kind of makes it weird that he was enjoying it. The other version of this event says that his sister was actually the one telling him the dirty story, which is actually even weirder. During the year 1660 is the year Thomas Urquhart managed to do the most disrespectful thing I have ever heard of. Thomas was a Scottish aristocrat and translator. One day someone came to him and delivered the news that King Charles II had taken the throne. He found the idea so crazy that he laughed his way to his grave. This guy had to be the biggest hater known to mankind. Just the thought of Charles taking the throne was so crazy that he just offed himself. Is what I originally thought until I did more research, and this is a bit of a rabbit hole, so stick with me. I found something crazy. You see, back in the day, the Europeans were obsessed with this little thing called royal purity, or in other words, incest. Bruh. So for a royal family to keep its bloodline pure, they had to mate with each other. What the? Charles II in particular is the literal poster child of why incest is bad. All of these pictures that I'm showing you here, these are all propaganda. This is not what Charles II looked like. The truth is, Charles II had a laundry list of mental problems and physical disabilities. For example, he wasn't able to walk until he was 4. He had an oversized hanging jaw that didn't allow him to chew food. Along with that, he had an oversized tongue so he couldn't even talk properly. And on top of all of it, he was infertile. And yes, they tried. But the cherry on top is the fact that mentally he had the world understanding of a 6-year-old. So that just makes it even more messed up. But anyways, upon hearing that this guy was now in charge of the entire country, Thomas laughed himself to death. This next one takes place in 1920 in Australia, and it's honestly kind of relatable to today. 56-year-old Arthur Cobcroft was reading a newspaper one day from the year 1915. So this took place in the year 1920, so it's 5 years old at that point. He noticed that the prices in this 1915 newspaper were way cheaper than the prices in 1920. He found these prices to be extremely hilarious, and he ended up cracking a joke to his wife about them. He then cracked himself up so hard that he died. Yeah, the dude killed himself laughing at his own damn joke. Hell, just imagine if this guy lived in 2026 and saw the prices today. He would fucking explode. Our next one takes place in the year 1965, which also means we're kind of approaching the point where I need to start being respectful. It took place in Manila, which is the capital of the Philippines. However, this one I'm not so sure about. So here's another rabbit hole for you. So the theory is, a 24-year-old man from Manila, carpenter by trade, was told a joke by his friend and thought the joke was so funny that he died from laughing too hard. While other sources suggest that it was him who told the joke and he died laughing from the delivery. I don't even know. I don't know. I couldn't even find the guy's name. So what I did was I found the earliest claim of each version. The version of the story that claims he died from hearing the joke originally came from a book called The Big Book of Boy Stuff, which is by a guy named Bart Kling, and it came out in 2004.
I don't know.
The other version, where the man died from telling the joke, can be traced back to a newspaper called the Kingston Gleamer in Jamaica. So yeah, I don't know. This story reaches both sides of the globe, I guess. I don't know.
I don't even know. I don't know.
I just find it interesting because we'll never know who this guy was. The original source, it's just lost forever. Lost to time. We don't have it. We don't know. We don't know who this guy is, and we have zero indication of what the joke was. We don't know. I don't know. I bet your ass it was about figs. Alex's case stands out among the rest, not because we know his name, but because we know the joke, too. Of all the cases on this list, Alex easily stands the most documented. We can't go back in time to hear the original delivery of the jokes that killed all these people, but in Alex's case, we can. We even know what the episode was. Not only that, but the case was so well documented that we even know the exact scene that he was watching that caused him to die from laughing. So here it is, the exact scene from the exact episode from the goodies that Alex Mitchell was watching that caused him to perish. Viewer discretion, here it is. You still there? You with me? Good. Because I actually have two more people I want to talk about. But first, check out this cool video I made.
What if I told you that 99% of you are not subscribed? Nonsense! Be sure to subscribe to Tommy TV right now!
So that was the case of Alex Mitchell. His wife would actually go on to thank the creators of the show for making his final moments pleasant, which I thought was nice. This is also the only case from this list that actually has an autopsy report, which claims that the particular thing that killed him was heart failure. However, plot twist, in 2003, his granddaughter found out that she had something called long QT syndrome, which to my dumbass understanding is basically irregular heartbeat. The doctors even told her that it was hereditary. They even said that this could have been particularly what caused the death of her grandfather. So is that it then? Is dying from laughing too hard actually just heart failure? Maybe, but that's boring. So let's continue. We still have two more to go. Our second to last victim of laughyitis took place in 1989. A Danish doctor named Ole Bentzen was a 71-year-old man who laughed himself to death at the premiere screening of a movie. What movie, you ask? A Fish Called Wanda. This makes Ole the second case of death laughter where we actually have access to the very joke that killed him. You can go watch this movie right now. After finishing this video, that is. It's a comedy film about a group of gang members racing to find diamonds that were hidden by their gang leader who is in jail. In particular, the scene that did it for him was actor Michael Palin shoving French fries up his nose. So once again, content warning, I guess.
That's a chip up the nose, I'm afraid. Friedrich Nietzsche.
And that was the last thing Bentzen ever saw. By the way, just a side note that I found kind of weird. It really seems like the director, John Cleese, is proud of this. I mean, he was low-key bragging about it. I mean, just listen to this quote from him.
Kevin Kline and I killed a man in Denmark. He was a dentist. He had a huge laugh. A famous laugh. He went to see Wanda, and he started laughing about 2 minutes in and never stopped. They carried him out dead.
Look at this dude, he's proud of it. Not only is he taking accountability, he's taking credit. And also, old Bentzen was not a dentist, he was a doctor. Dude couldn't even get his job right. The last one on our list is Damnnoen Saen-um? Damnnoen
Saen-um.
Okay, D was a 52-year-old ice cream truck driver from Thailand. And this next case I'm going to talk about is the most recent one, and it happened in 2003, which to me is just kind of crazy because nowadays we literally have infinite piles of garbage to consume, but none of it has caused death from laughing too hard. Not for 23 years, it seems. Also, I'm gonna warn you guys, this one is kind of creepy, and it might unlock a new fear. D died while laughing too hard. In his sleep. Yeah, apparently this can even happen while you're asleep. You're telling me that I can die from laughing at my own damn dream? That's crazy. But alas, we will never know exactly what it is this man was laughing at, which is unfortunate. But I bet it was about figs. Holy shit! So that's it. That's every documented case of someone dying from laughter. But before I go, I'm gonna share with you some interesting statistics. Maybe these can help reveal the funniest joke of all time. 20% of deaths came from jokes, 10% came from a story, 20% came from seeing something funny happen right in front of them, 20% came from hearing news about something, and 10% of them happened from dreams. Another shocking discovery I found is that 100% of all of these cases were men. Sorry. And last but not least, we also know 20% has something to do with figs. It also is like the only thing that any of these have in common with each other. So fucking figs, man. I guess figs are confirmed to be the funniest thing of all time.